man. All right, coming down in, it seems in Atlanta, nobody better to help us navigate through there and become a little profitable here for this UFC match than our good friend Kyle Anthony, WagerTalk.com. And, you know, Kyle, we were just talking off air. We're laughing, but it seems like it's been forever since we finally got a card that people are excited about. It's gotten a little watered down here, over the year. I guess once you spend $47 trillion to carry something, you got to keep providing fights for them. But this is actually one of the better cards that we've seen for a while.
Yeah, you know what? It's definitely great that there's a lot of UFC going on. I love it, but sometimes it's like, it's almost like they're getting a little desperate with a co-main event or a main event kind of thing. So this card here, great card, two great, main event, co-main event fights. Definitely some opportunities to make some money.
All right, so let's start first and foremost. Let's start, of course, Max Holloway and Dustin. Is it Poirier? I don't want to butcher your name here. Poirier. All right, so you got Poirier and Holloway, right? Now, this opens up from a betting perspective. I think Holloway opened up at minus 230. He's been kind of bet down to minus 200 right now. Poirier is plus 175, plus 180, somewhere in that ballpark here. Contrast. Talk to us about fighting styles here. I know people are like, hey, it's you got Holloway's considered legendary. This guy has been around. He's been there, done that. What do you think style-wise from these two guys?
Well, definitely the big part of this fight is going to be the fact that you've got a current featherweight champion moving up in weight. And that has been kind of the big talk is, how is that going to be for him? How is it going to be having the extra weight? Is it going to help him? Is it going to be a negative? Is it going to be a positive? And is Poirier going to be the bigger guy? And I actually believe that this is a great move for Max Holloway. He is already a bigger featherweight. So this is really going to fit his body really nicely. I think that it's going to help him out with his cardio. I think it's going to help him out with his power. So you've got Max Holloway, who very well-rounded, has a lot on his arsenal when he throws combinations from the outside. He's got a 13-fight win streak, and he has been doing sensational. Since he lost to Conor McGregor, it feels like ages ago, he's done very well. And then you've got this fight was actually a rematch of a 2012 fight. It was Max Holloway's debut against Poirier, who was at that time a top 5 in the world. So that you can't really take much of that away. And a lot of people are kind of saying, hey, is Dustin going to do what he did to Max? Taking him down, work the ground and pound, and then try to get a submission. These two guys are on a different stratosphere to where they were, and obviously Max Holloway and the way that he handles himself and the way that he is out there, he's a completely different person. But you got Poirier on the other side. He's got great boxing. He's 8-1 out of his last 9. 5-fight win streak. He's done very well, but I think breaking it down stylistically, you've got great footwork from Poirier. You've got great counter-striking from Poirier, but I like the complete weapons and arsenal that Max Holloway has. The price is a little bit higher. I'm actually surprised it's not closer. I thought it would actually be pushing down a little bit more. I do like it at minus 200. It's not the greatest price, but I think that I don't really see as many paths to victory for Poirier in this. I think that he can go out there, he can land a big shot, of course, but Max is durable. He's not a guy that's just going to go away, and I think that he's going to have sheer volume output that's going to be way too much for Poirier going down the line. I like Max Holloway here in the main event. I think he gets the job done, and he goes out there and fights Khabib in his next fight.
What do you think about the, Poirier, these guys that say, listen, he has been working – he's hungry for this. Like, this is the moment he has been working his entire career for. And there are some guys that I've talked to are like, guys, this is it. This is his moment. Like, he's not going to, he is absolutely not going to let this slip away here. So, I don't know. Do you think one needs it more than the other? Maybe one's a little hungrier than the other at this point?
I think that, and that's definitely a good point because, Poirier has been chomping at the bit for a long time, and he has looked impressive. There's no doubt. And both of these guys they couldn't be any more likable UFC fighters than these two guys and the way they are and, just the way they carry themselves. But I really like that Max has always said, and even when he won the title, even when he was about to fight for the title, he kept talking about greatness. He kept talking about, I'm going to be one of the greatest ever because he is so young. They're both young, but he is so young. He's got an opportunity here to possibly look at a second world title, and he's so young that I believe if he goes out there, of course he has a lot to surpass before that. But he's the kind of fighter that could have 3 world titles before he ends up, calling it a career. He said in an interview today, he's got about 7 more years left, 8 more years left. That is an eternity when it comes to UFC fighting, if you're talking 3 fights a year or somewhere around there. So I like the hunger of Max Holloway because he's looking so much more past just an interim title, where this is the biggest spot that Poirier has ever been in, and Holloway's been in bigger spots before, so I like the mindset of Holloway a little bit more than Poirier.
Love that. Kyle Anthony joining us, wagertalk.com. Guys, when it comes to UFC and it comes to, getting the card, getting the selections, you want to be profitable UFC, this is the guy that you need to go to at wagertalk.com. In fact, his whole card available there today, I believe, for $9. So I know you got $9. You got it in the couch. Who are you kidding? Get over to wagertalk.com right now. And profit from a damn good UFC card. 13 fights, plenty of opportunity for you guys to make cash. Plus, he's laying out the 2 main events right now for us. And how about the other fight here? Adesanya versus Gastelum. And from what I'm hearing, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, but, Adesanya seems to be this flavor of the month, somebody that they've decided they're going to fast track, that, he's congratulations, you beat a 100-year-old Anderson Silva. I'm not sure that really counts, but a lot of people don't feel that he quite maybe not even earned this, but maybe he's just not seasoned enough to be able to win this, certainly as a favorite at minus 180, 175, somewhere around there. What do you think about this? Is he the flavor of the month at the UFC right now?
I mean, definitely without a doubt. I mean, he talks the talk. He has looked good in the, who they put him up against. He's looked good, and, he's 16-0, 5-0 within the UFC, and, the hype is definitely behind him. I mean, who knows if they want him to win this fight, but it's more they've wanted to put him in the spotlight for a while, so he's here now. But the biggest part of this fight is everyone's talking about is how big he is compared to Kelvin Gastelum. I mean, he's going to have a 9-inch reach advantage. He's going to have somewhere around a 6-inch height advantage, so he's going to have those advantages. But when you, like you're saying, when you look at who he's fought over the last 4 fights, you've got Anderson Silva. I was not impressed at all with that performance. I was not at all impressed with it. I mean, I think there was a lot of respect between the two of them. I don't think there was much else than that. It was almost like a glorified sparring match, it felt like. Wow. But then, we won that match. You've got to give him credit. But then you take a look at it he's got against Derek Brunson. When he fought Derek Brunson, this was supposed to be another big step up for him. Really big, hey, this is going to be a big moment. But Derek Brunson is currently 2-4 out of his last 6 fights. He has looked good in certain spots. He's had some knockouts and had some nice wins, but Derek Brunson isn't really that cream of the crop. And then even before that was Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares, he did win by a landslide decision, 5-round fight. He thought he looked good, but Tavares is slow, flat-footed. He doesn't really do much. He's kind of a one-dimensional fighter. And the fight before that, which I believe is the most important fight of the last 4 fights that he had, is against Marvin Vettori. And against Marvin Vettori, who is a little bit more athletic, but likes to pressure, and that's something that Gastelum likes to do. He likes to pressure, but he had a lot of success. I mean, it was, Adesanya has 5 fights in the last 14 months, which is a lot. Wow. That's a lot. I mean, he's young and he's hungry, but that's a lot. That is absolutely a lot. So when you take a look at Gastelum on the other side of it, Gastelum has that 1-2 combination. He has great pressure. He's got great movement. He's almost like kind of have that feel of a Mike Tyson kind of movement where he's kind of, getting low, looking for the big hooks. And that's been really, really good for him. But a big spot also, and people are also talking about this, hey, is he going to take down Adesanya? Is he going to take him down? I think that is a possibility, but I think it's going to be more of a strategic move for him to level change and not look for the takedown. Almost just getting Adesanya, thinking about it, getting him out of the rhythm, and then looking to throw the big strike. So I think that he's going to be able to mix it up a lot. I think Gastelum, that what he's done against Jacare and then even against Weidman, he looked good against Weidman, but he couldn't get close enough to Weidman because Weidman would look to just take him down. So I like the fact that here at the plus odds, plus 150, roughly where, depending where you're shopping it, I think Gastelum has a good opportunity here to really push forward. And you've seen him even when Anderson Silva kind of pushed forward a little bit, you see a little bit of vulnerability from Israel Adesanya.
Does Adesanya possess the power to hurt Gastelum? Can he do it if he gets there? I mean, a lot of people say, listen, he's he's a good striker, but he's not, he's not going to be a powerful guy. A lot of guys don't think he's going to be able to take him down, not going to be able to hurt him with any power.
Right, and even when you're looking at it, when he fought Brad Tavares, I mean, that was a 5-round fight. That fight, I believe, in the first 2 fights of the last 2 fights against Vettori and Tavares, was really set up for him to get those knockdowns. Like UFC was like, get a good finish. We want that flashy spinning kick, head kick. We want something. And they were pretty close. Vettori was close. Tavares, he definitely beat him on the scorecards, but it wasn't anything that you were saying, wow. There was no big wow moment besides for the one against Brunson, and I'm not very high on Brunson just to begin with. I'm not very high on him.
So Gastelum, you think maybe is probably a little quicker than maybe Adesanya thinks, because a lot, he's pretty elusive. It's not like he's just a lug sitting in the middle of the thing. I mean, the guy he can actually move, and maybe Adesanya gets a little surprised by some of that quickness he brings to the table.
Definitely. And when he's going to push forward, because that's absolutely going to happen, and I think that first round is going to be a little bit of a feel-out process, because this is Gastelum has been in some big spots, been in some big fights, but Adesanya, I know he's had some past, kickboxing and some kickboxing championships and that kind of thing, but this is without a doubt, and again, when you look at some of the people that Gastelum has faced, we got, maybe some a little bit older too, but you got, Belfort, he fought Weidman, Bisping, Jacare, and even there's some even further back. So he has been in the cage with some beasts, and he's finally getting an opportunity here where I'm actually surprised that Gastelum is the underdog at this point. I actually would have maybe even switched it and had Israel as the underdog, not a huge underdog, but as an underdog. So when you're getting these plus odds, I actually had placed a bet about 2 weeks ago on Gastelum at about plus 175, and I thought that was a really great price, because I figured the money would start to come in on Gastelum, but like you're saying, the flavor of the month right now, you've got Israel, he's talking the talk, and that's just getting some bettors to kind of place some money on him, not looking at his skill set, but the reach is going to be interesting, how Gastelum is going to really push through that, but I believe it's going to be a little bit easier than people believe. I think it's going to be a close fight, but I think he's going to be able to push through that reach advantage of Israel.
All right, so Gastelum at plus 150. You do like Holloway as the favorite at minus 200 there. Do either one of these or both of these go 5 rounds? Do they go the distance? Should we look at that number as well?
I think that on the Gastelum side of things, in that fight, I think he could finish the fight. I think there's a possibility he could go out there and finish that fight, and that's really, outstriking Israel for 5 rounds is going to be a little tough. But if he gets into the ground, of course, that can change things. But I would say that, I don't believe the co-main event will get to a decision, but I think the main event will get to a decision. I think they're both going to be very smart. I think that they're both going to, really play a chess match, because they're such both high-level strikers, and I don't see a finish coming out or anything like that off of volume. I think the main event goes to a decision.
All right, there you go. Going the distance there in a Holloway fight, and Gastelum probably gets the job done there at plus 150. And listen, it's not like, at minus 200, Holloway, it seems like a big favorite here. But, if you wanted to throw, maybe, a money line parlay on Poirier there at 175 and maybe at plus 150, I don't think it's not a foregone conclusion Holloway wins this. You might give yourself a better chance with going with both underdogs here.
Right. That's definitely. There is value on Poirier, without a doubt, at a plus, near a plus 200. There's definitely value there. But when I'm looking at a fight, I just don't see how Poirier goes out there and gets the victory. So yes, the odds and the value slight towards Poirier, but who I fully believe wins is Holloway.
Great stuff here. He is Kyle Anthony, wagertalk.com. If you guys haven't figured it out now, UFC is what he does here. On Twitter, at Mr. UFC Vegas. He's done nothing but help us profit all year long when it comes to UFCs. Nobody quite does it like Kyle. And by the way, guys, $9 right now, wagertalk.com. Go there. His card is there, and I'm assuming you're looking at you've got some selections here in the undercard available here with the $9, and just give us a couple of names of the fights that you find interesting here on the undercard. Obviously, don't give us who you like, but just what are some of the fights you're going to be looking at?
Well, the one that I actually do believe is a great fight, and I actually do want to I'll give this one, is between Botello and Lauren Mueller. I think this is a great spot to take the underdog here. And you got Mueller, she's plus 144. You've got Botello's minus 186. And Botello is a great striker. She's got great forward movement. She's definitely got, the opportunity where she's able to be, looking for those flashy shots. But Lauren Mueller has been more of a bull mentality. I think that she's the kind of person that is going to be able to really, really pressure her opponent. And you saw Botello up against Cynthia Calvillo. And against Calvillo, as soon as Calvillo gave space to Botello, Botello was able to land some nice shots, was able to really, start to cause some damage. And as soon as, although Calvillo is a higher level grappler, but she was able to go in there and quickly finish Botello. I think that's something that Lauren Mueller is going to be able to do here. She's 5-1 overall, and Botello's 7-2. It's not like they're have been that much cage experience overall, but I think that she has the opportunity here to go in there, ground and pound it out over 3 rounds, and get the finish either on the ground or get the win on the decision. I like Mueller here at plus 144 to get the victory in the undercard.
Yeah, guys, I don't know what to tell you. UFC 236, you're hearing him. He's got a big play there. $9. Get to wagertalk.com. Get it. All right. He's pointed you in the right direction thus far. Let him finish the night. Let him help you finish the night here. $9. Wagertalk.com tomorrow. UFC 236 in Atlanta. All right. This isn't the homeless Olympics here. Like is what it. This is no Motel 6 in Wichita here. This is the real deal. Atlanta. It's going to be rocking. 13 fights, and I would definitely, no matter what, guys, I would check out his YouTube videos here, the YouTube show he does on the UFC. Tell us real quick about it there, Kyle, and how folks can check you out, because the information you give is kind of priceless, especially if you plan on investing on the UFC moving forward.
Yeah, so what I do is the channel is Kyle Anthony's UFC betting show, and what I do is every Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I put out my prediction show. I talk some free plays. That's actually when I launch and give out my my best bet play that goes up on Wager Talk, and then every Sunday, sometime on Sunday, I put out my bet review show, and that is talking about every single play that I had discussed, my best bet plays, my free plays, and discussing all of them and recapping all of them of what I've learned, what I've seen, things that maybe I missed, things that maybe I knew exactly were going to be right. So really, going over everything and giving as much transparency as possible.
Love that. Kyle Anthony, wagertalk.com. Make sure you're following him on Twitter. Tail him at Mr. UFC Vegas. Go get the $9. Go get his play. All right, profit, and then we'll do this again here, because I don't know if you guys noticed here. There's a UFC pretty much every 3 days now, so it's good, especially when you got somebody like Kyle in the corner who knows what the hell he's talking about, who lives, breathes, and does this. And Kyle, we appreciate your knowledge. We appreciate your time, my friend. Good luck. Enjoy them, and then we'll talk to you again for the next UFC, man.
I appreciate it, Joe. Thanks for having me on, and we'll definitely talk soon.
You got it. Kyle Anthony, wagertalk.com. $9. Get there now, guys.